This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for some entertainment news. And we have Harrison Barnes with us. And I'm really excited to talk to you, Harrison, because the information I have is you are a pop dance artist. Now, I've heard of a pop singer. What is a pop dance artist? Explain that to me.
I mean, if you listen to radio now, there's so much pop music, but not a lot of people do it the way that I saw growing up. You know, like Britney Spears, like Janet Jackson, kind of the old style where it's, you know, about the performance, it's about the visuals, it's about the dancing. It's not just the music, which I work really hard on, but it's about the entire package. And yeah, I like to put on a show. I love to dance, and yeah, I hope other people feel that whenever they see me.
So when did you realize that this was something that you wanted to do, not just dance and sing, but to actually be a performer and dedicate your whole body to this?
I mean, literally, as soon as I could walk, my mom owned a dance studio, so I was dancing from really young. So I mean, I've been a professional dancer since I was 17, but singing wise, someone told me when I was young that I couldn't sing, so I was embarrassed and I never sang in front of people. And then a couple years ago, I've been writing music my entire life, and it got to the point where I had so many songs that this felt really personal about what I was kind of going through at the moment. And I was like, you know, it's kind of been a bucket list thing to always do a song and a video. And it just kind of keeps expanding and it keeps going. But when my first song came out, no one had ever heard me sing. No one had ever heard me any of the writing that I had ever done. So it was very stressful and scary. But I'm a performer. Once people start clapping for me, I'm just like, give me more. So here we are 2 years later.
So you sort of got a little bit of your start because of a talented mom and having a studio where you could learn to dance, not just create on your own. So what do you think was the thing that said to you, you know what, I really can do this and I like doing this? Because so many of us went to dance classes when we were young, and we were kicking and screaming as we went in the door. And some of us stood there and stared at our toes instead of dancing. But obviously you did a lot more than that.
Yeah. I don't know, like, it's just in me, you know, like sometimes, like I've known since I was young. I remember being like 8 and my mom being like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna entertain, I'm gonna sing and dance and act. But I'm originally from South Carolina, and my mom is really close to me. She didn't want me to leave. So she's like, no, why don't you stay here and be like a teacher? And I was like, no, I'm leaving. Like I said it since I was like 8. And I don't know where my drives come from. This is just the only thing I've ever really been drawn to. And like, it's the only thing that I feel really fulfilled with. And I mean, I hope everyone has something like that. They have. I don't know why this is mine. There's so many times, especially during this pandemic, like there's times where I'm like, gosh, I wish I had been smart and become a doctor or something that would be more essential than entertainment, because I'm just been sitting around twiddling thumbs, really.
So what has it really been like in Vegas? Because here in Northeast Ohio, our local performers, for the most part, they're doing YouTube and FaceTime, you know, concerts, and you know, they're really struggling. And here in Ohio, back in the spring, things started to open and people got really excited. And by Thanksgiving, things started closing down again. And as your audience, we don't realize how difficult that is for all of you, because this is what you do. And to do it in front of a screen without seeing the audience has to be difficult. So how have you kept yourself busy?
I mean, like you said, it's been really crazy and all over the place. And in Vegas, like some shows are opening up, not all shows. Like I was in a show full time prior to the pandemic, but it's not open yet. So, you know, business has been really up and down. During the heat of it, I had already started working on the first music that I was putting out at the time, and I released it right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Okay.
So like for me, like I had a project to work on. So throughout the pandemic, me and like a small group of friends would get together and we'd make videos for my music. And yeah, I would just keep writing. I kept putting stuff out. I was just trying to keep putting myself out there and kind of taking advantage of the fact that people were stuck at home.
Yep.
Like my first video had way more streams or more views ever than I expected because people were at home and looking for anything to watch. But yeah, no, it's definitely been, it has its good days, it has its bad days, but we're fighting through, we're getting there.
Well, and that's all we can do. All we can do is do it one day at a time and one step at a time. And we talk about these same principles on all of our podcasts that, there's certain things we just don't have the control for. And when you don't have the control, you sort of have to say, well, what can I control? And like you said, you can put some videos together and make people a little bit more aware. But I loved your comment in the beginning when I asked you, what pop dance was. And you said it's more like, and I don't remember the exact words, but it was something about, what Britney Spears did and what Janet Jackson did. And it's like that was a very long time ago. And in my time frame, that's still current. But I understand what you're saying. That really was almost 20 years ago when they were creating all that. So I have noticed that on a lot of these so-called talent show reality programs that we have today, that performers tend to stand straight in front of a mic or holding a mic. And the interesting part about a Janet Jackson and Britney Spears is, you said they were the whole package. They put it together. So how do you create something like that? I mean, do you just like all of a sudden have a vision and say, oh, I know exactly how I'm going to move and what I'm going to do?
Luckily for all my video, being in Vegas, I have a huge community of performers that are my friends. So luckily I have dancers at call, and then my best friend is an incredible dancer and choreographer. So she's been choreographing all my stuff. But like whenever, usually the songs that I'm drawn to and the songs that I put out, I don't know how or why, but as soon as I hear it, I'm picturing a video. I'm picturing what the story's telling. I'm picturing all these visuals. And then my job is kind of just to cipher through and put it together to be hopefully something cohesive. Like my music videos that I've been putting out, I put a lot of work into it. I put a lot of thought. I put a lot of money. It's all coming out of my pocket right now. But no, I work really hard to do that, to take it to the next level. Like I wouldn't sit here right now and be like, oh, I'm the greatest singer or I'm the best dancer. But if you put me on a stage or if you put me in my like arena, like that's where I feel like I'm my best, when it's the bigger picture of it all. And that's what I work for.
And that is such a good message, because so many of us think, oh, I can't do it because I can't live up to a certain expectation, even if it's my own expectation. Okay. And I had just done a podcast before you came on today. And one of the things that this gentleman, Justin, and I were talking about is that when you do anything, whether it be dance, sing, write, manage a group of people, okay, you have to have that inner feeling that what you are doing is good enough. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay to make mistakes. Okay. Because then you'll learn from them and you'll get better. But so many of us stop short of doing what we want to do because we say, I'm not good enough. It's those old tapes that play in our head.
Yeah.
Somebody at one time told you you couldn't sing, so you chose to say that you couldn't sing. The reality of it is, obviously, you do have the vocals to sing.
Yeah. And I'm still getting, more confident with that. But no, like you said, I actually have a song that's on my first EP. But there's a line in it that literally says, I don't have the best voice, but I have something to say. And I think that kind of sums me up. It's like, I'm not the best, but it doesn't make what I'm saying less valid. It doesn't make what I'm doing not good enough. Yeah, I think we always feel like we have to be at a certain level to even have a seat at the table. And it's like, no, there's something for everyone here. And I think that's been such a nice thing with a realization of putting out my music and stuff, is just the fact that that I've always thought I could do this kind of stuff. And then now that people are welcoming it, that they're enjoying it, that they are validating kind of like my videos, my concepts, my ideas, I don't know, it makes that little boy that used to sing and do dances in his bedroom just feel very like, oh, you can do it.
Absolutely.
And everyone can. Everyone should be brave enough to do it, for sure.
And again,
at least try.
Yep. Well, and we all have to try, because otherwise we get to the end of our life and we're saying,
and you regret it.
Absolutely. I've shared this story before, but I always wanted to be in broadcasting. And when I was graduating high school, I told my parents, so I'm going to take a communications and broadcasting course. And my parents looked at me and said, oh, no, you get a teaching degree. That's what young girls do. You'll be set for life. And I said, no, no, no. So I went to school and I got my associate's degree. And as soon as I did, they pulled me out. They said, you wasted our money. But many, many years later, when my youngest was graduating high school, I decided to go back to college, get my degree, get my master's in communications. And I remember my husband saying to me, that is wonderful. Now, what are you going to do with it? And I said, I'm going to do what I always wanted to do. I'm going to broadcast. And he looked at me and he goes, hey, go for it. And when my mother was dying, she said to me, are you a famous broadcaster? And I looked straight at her and I said, I'm your famous broadcaster. And it was from that point forward that it was like, I can really, really do this, because you got to believe in yourself. And that's what you do. And I think that is absolutely terrific. So you mentioned, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and also kind of dovetailing off what you were saying, like, because my parents made me go to college while I was dancing professionally and stuff. And there have been times where I'm like, gosh, I'm loving what I'm doing right now. I wish I had done this sooner. But like I'm in my 30s, so like I'm late to be like a new up and coming like pop star. But I wouldn't have been able to do what I'm doing. I wouldn't have had the confidence to step out and do this if I hadn't have lived and gone through. It's like you kind of have to trust the timing of when things happen in your life, and because I would not have had the confidence to do this 10 years ago versus now.
And I totally agree with you. When I went to college and even when I was doing an apprenticeship, I felt embarrassed everything I did. Okay. I wasn't mature enough. So, my timing had to wait almost 30 years. But in the meantime, you chose, besides going to college, that you were writing songs. So where do you get your ideas from? Are they from your life, things around you, or
100% my life. Every song that is out right now, and that is coming out currently, everything I have right now is 100% right by me. I have a couple producers that help me like with the instrumentation and everything, but the words are 100% mine. And it's one very autobiographical. My first EP like is the chronicle of this huge breakup that I was going through. And it kind of tells the story of it from beginning to end. And then I've just been releasing singles of just songs that I've been writing. I love writing songs. Songwriting is one of my favorite things. So it's either my life or it's if I just come up with a clever saying or a line or a twist of dialogue, I throw it in. But yeah, if you listen to my songs, you definitely get to know me a lot.
Okay. So you have something coming out in February. Tell us about this.
Yeah, I have a new song coming out, which is going to kick off a couple months of leading up to my new EP. This song's called TLC. You're the first to hear the title. No one's heard this yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's coming out February 11th, and I'm super excited about it. It's a very different vibe for anything that I've done so far. It's very dancey. It's very fun. Yeah, and I'm so excited for people to hear it.
Well, I'll tell you, we need more dance music. I was at an event right before the pandemic, and it was a local band, and they may have been good, but I couldn't move to any of their music.
Yeah.
And nobody else seemed to be moving in time with it either. And I remember saying to the hostess, I said, is there a particular reason why you chose this band? And she said, well, I wanted people to dance. And I said, did you check to see if they really played dance music? And she said, oh, it doesn't matter. You can just move. And I guess you can, but I come from, the 50s and 60s when you actually danced to music.
Yeah.
And I love the 80s with disco music. That was my era, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Well, that's everyone's era. Everyone still goes back to those songs.
Yep. Absolutely.
They've never left. There's some songs on this new EP. It's the sound of it's very kind of electric, but there's a lot of there's some 80s synth stuff. So there's a couple songs you might gravitate a little bit more towards.
Absolutely. So how can people find your music? Is there one central place, or are you on all the streaming venues?
I'm on all the streaming venues. If you search Harrison Barnes, usually with music after it, Harrison Barnes music, that will probably be the best way. There is a famous basketball player with the name Harrison Barnes, so he kind of stole a little bit of my thunder right there. But but I am not the 6'8" black guy. So if he pops up on your Google search, that's not me.
That's not you. Well,
yeah, but Harrison Barnes on Spotify, iTunes, everything you can think of.
And do you think Vegas is the place for your kind of music, or do you think that this is something that maybe once this pandemic is over, you would be touring or something?
I am 100% hoping for. I got to do my first live show here, a full 30-minute set of my music, which I hadn't been able to do since the pandemic, last October here, and it was just so fulfilling, and it was so nice. I'm looking forward to performing it more live. So yeah, hopefully as soon as we have the opportunity, we're gonna hit the road and do some stuff.
That is wonderful. I know we're all missing live entertainment. And as I said to you, my musician friends here in Northeast Ohio and upstate New York, I know they've been suffering this past year, but they are giving us pleasure by putting out videos and doing live concerts online. And what I want to ask all of our listeners, if you go to listen to Harrison's music or you want to watch a video, please make sure that you purchase it. Don't just go look at it, because Harrison has not been working full time along with his other musician friends. And if we want to see him entertain and perform live, we're going to have to support him and everybody else. Do you have any last minute words that you want to share with the listeners?
No, just thank you so much for listening. Thank you for having me. Yeah, there's so much music coming out from me in the next coming months. TLC, February 11th. And yeah, I hope you like it.
Absolutely. And that's Harrison Barnes music. Go Google it and go listen. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.